Morning, all. All right, so not really a news of the day type video. This is the details, the dry details, and as many details as I could put on one board of how this year's going to work. And I guarantee you, people are going to get confused as the year goes on. With the question being likely, so is he in the minors? Is he up? Okay, wait. So do we have players? Because don't they have to quarantine because they're coming from an American Hockey League team in the States, right? So January 13th is opening night. So we knew that. February 1st, however, and I went through Cap Friendly, TSN, Sportsnet, got as many details as I could. February 1st, teams can ask players to waive their no movement clause. So I did the whole playlist of who Seattle might take and Seattle can't take and Seattle should take. And the reality is that while Cap Friendly automatically protects no movement clauses, there are going to be teams that are asking players, hey, can you waive your no movement clause for us for this expansion draft? And there are players who are going to say yes. There are also players who are going to say no. So February 1st is the deadline for them to do that. April 12th is the trade deadline. So that is less than 3 months after opening night. That's insane. That's crazy. That's like starting October 1st and February 1st. It's trade deadline. Like, it's just, that seems really early to me. May 8th is the end of the regular season. So, yeah, it's a short regular season. May 11th, playoffs start. So this is where it's interesting because the rumor had been they were going to leave like a week of time in between the end of the season and the start of the playoffs, just in case. Just in case they need to move or postpone games. They haven't really given themselves that leeway here. So, fingers crossed on that, right? July 15th is the last possible date for the Stanley Cup to be awarded. And I think they're going to stick to that because they want to make sure they get everything done before the end of July. And by everything, I mean the expansion draft's July 21st. The entry draft is scheduled for July 23rd and 24th. Round 1 would be the 23rd. Rounds 2 through 7 would be on the 24th. So July 24th is when you'll have an idea for what the Seattle Kraken's going to look like. July 28th is free agency. And that's where Seattle may pick up more players. So, free agency on July 28th, opening night January 13th. It is going to be a very busy 6.5 months. And things are going to happen fast. So, very, very busy, very compacted. And the plan is to get all this done so that in October we have the opening of the 2021-2022 season. If free agency is July 28th, Cup's awarded July 15th. I could see a middle of October start date. I could see like an October 15th start date. Saying, all right, from July 15th to October 15th, and then we start. But if the Cup was awarded on, say, the 12th or the 11th, maybe then you move it up to October 11th. So that's August, September, October. It's 3 months off for the teams that were in the Stanley Cup final. Now, some of the details as well. Teams have to carry 3 goalies, and that would appear to include the taxi squad. The taxi squad is where people are going to go, wait, where is he? What's going on? Because it's going to be day by day. There's going to be players put on taxi squads and taken off taxi squads for cap reasons, which is likely why some of this took so long to agree to. GMs are going to love this because this is legit a way around the salary cap. So teams have to carry 3 goalies, including the taxi squad. Entry level slides from 10 games to 7. So if you don't want to burn the first year of a contract on an entry-level deal, you play them in less than 10 games. So they play their 9 games and go. So when you see rookies playing 9 games, you're like, why do they always play 9? That's what it is. Now that drops to 7. So now you can only play them in 6. You play them in more than 6. You burned off a first year of their entry-level contract. The no-movement clauses are extended through July to make sure that you don't end up in a situation where, oh, yeah, that no-movement clause is gone because that contract expired at the end of June, didn't it? No, everything's been extended through July to make sure that it's still exactly as it was going to be in a regular season. The opt-out dates for players, December 24th for the 7 teams that missed the play-in round. For the others, December 27th. And it would still appear that if you opt out of the season, you don't get paid, and the team has the option to put an extra year on your contract. They can say, all right, we're going to slap a year at the end of your contract there, and just slide that contract down 1 year. So we'll see how many players opt out. I'm sure there will be some. I'm 100% sure there will be some, and as soon as the first one or two come out and say that they're not going to play, we'll have fans saying, cancel everything, quick, cancel the season. RFAs must sign by February 11th, and usually that's December 1st. So if you got an RFA out there that's not signed currently, you're on the clock. February 11th is your deadline. The taxi squads are made up of no less than 4 or no more than 6 players. They do not count under the salary cap, but one goalie on the taxi squad is required if the team carries less than 3. So if a team's carrying 2 goaltenders, you're good, but if you carry 3, you don't have to worry. Or if you have 2, you have to put 1 on the taxi squad. If you carry 3, you're fine. So the New York Rangers last year, for instance, they carried 3 goalies. They would have been fine. They wouldn't have needed to put a goalie on the taxi squad. The taxi squad will be paid at the AHL level if they have a 2-way contract. Otherwise, they will be paid their NHL money, and a team can basically clear $1.075 million in cap space for a player they send down, which is why Louis Eriksson is not going to the taxi squad, because I know that's going to be the question. You still have $5 million in cap eaten up by Louis Eriksson if you put him on the taxi squad. So that's not going to go down, but for players who make less than this, you can put them on the taxi squad and their whole salary comes off. Waivers will stay at every 10 games or 30 days. So if you call a player up, you waive a player. Let's say James Neal gets waived by the Oilers, just as an example, and no team claims him. He can play 10 games before like in the NHL, before he'd have to clear waivers again, or 30 days before he'd have to clear waivers again. Emergency recalls also stay at 10 games. It's an emergency recall. The maximum number of games you can use that player is 10 games. So waivers don't change. The exposure requirements for Seattle have changed. So now instead of a player having to play 40 games this year to qualify to meet exposure requirements, now it's going to be 27. And instead of 70 games over the last 2 years, it'll be 54. So that does change things, and it'll be interesting to see how many changes are made to the exposure rules, and well, not just rules, but to the who might be available, who might not, that kind of thing. The injury threshold. So this is it might be career-threatening injury, not life-threatening, career-threatening injury. It had been the last 60 games that the player had to have missed. Now it's 41. So again, right, there's going to be some players that we were looking at going, well, maybe, and they won't be eligible to be protected or taken due to the injury threshold. And I wanted to throw in at the end of this, we're 24 days from the start of the season. Yep, it's December 20th. You got 11 days left in January, or in December, and you got 13 days in January. That's your start date. So we are 24 days away from the start of the season. It's a lot of numbers, and I apologize for any I might have fumbled along the way. But we got there. The important thing is I got through the board, and I'm happy that I got through the board. So there's your key dates, information that I'm sure we're going to have to refresh our memories on as the season goes along. And so it's 23 players on your active roster, 4 to 6 on the taxi squad, so it's up to 29 players that will travel with the team. They will practice with the team. The only thing they won't do is play, the guys on the taxi squad. Now, the interesting thing, too, is that for the guys on the taxi squad, they're not allowed to participate in activities with the AHL team. So, for instance, the Toronto Maple Leafs can't take a guy on the taxi squad and put him with the Marlies for the day to run drills. Can't do that. So that's one difference, but it'll be interesting to see how this goes this year. All right, so we're all geared up. Everybody, it's all clear as mud? Good. All right, so there'll be a test on this at the end of the semester. No, I'm just kidding. It feels like that, though, doesn't it? All right, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.